Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. I'm back with another track guide. This time we are giving you a guide for the next Nations race in the GTWS series, driving the Mazda Group 4 car. We're driving at Fuji. It's on racing hard tyres. Now this race has got dynamic, well not dynamic weather, it's scripted weather at the end of the race for GT1 drivers. I don't think GT2 drivers and GT3 drivers will hit that weather, but if you are in A or A plus ranked drivers, you should get weather at the end. So what that means is you're going to have to do some tyre saving in this race. So you are going to have to look after your tyres because you do not want to pit before that rain hits, otherwise you're going to waste a lot of time pitting twice. But we're going to go through the guide to try and help you get your lap time sorted. So I set a reasonably okay lap on time trial while we were live streaming, and hopefully this will help you out. So we're going to point out some pointers with this car and try and get you some extra pace. So going into turn one, we're going to first of all be looking for that 150 board on the left hand side. You're going to see it approaching just there now. So we're braking pretty much dead level with that. You're going to see as we play it forward here now, you can see just getting on the brakes almost level, maybe a fraction past the 150, and we're going to keep braking in a straight line going into this corner. Now one thing with the FF car, the Mazda, is it's really good on acceleration in third gear. You don't really want to use second gear because it spins up too much. So you can see taking that squared off line to try and rotate it in, we're going to go down to second, trail brake, and then up to third gear, and then put the throttle down because you want to use third gear for accelerating phase in this car. Second gear just will bog down, it'll spin up, and it's just not very good really for acceleration. Now into the next fast left hand corner, we're going to go past the 100 board and brake almost just past, you can see about a third of the way past the 100 board, and we're going to try and get this left hand tyre over the green Astro on the left hand, as close to the bollard as you can see. We're chasing Jack in front of us there, and his tyre is almost touching that bollard. I don't get as close as there, so a little bit of time for me to gain on that corner. And just be careful you do not run all the way out to the full width of the track there and pick up a penalty. As long as you get left hand tyre back in the track before the white line, you should be okay. Now all the way through here, you can see I'm going to try and hug the inside without running it too wide. So you can see lifting off the throttle, tiny little dab of the brake as we went through that corner also, and just letting it just coast through here. You don't really want to be putting the accelerator down because it's front wheel drive, it'll understeer, and we're just trying to get the rotation. So right hand tyre right on that end apex there, clipping the white line, and now getting the car back over to the right hand side. Now you're actually going to brake on that little signpost you can see on the right hand side. You're going to use that as a reference, braking pretty much level with that. You can see onto the brakes now, and you can see we're going to swing this car in. You remember, this is a front wheel drive car, so you really want to get as wide an entry as possible into these corners to give yourself a straighter line on the exit to gain that acceleration. Again, you see Jack using all the curb there on the left, getting the full advantage of the track limits, and then putting that power down. And just be careful you don't run too far wide here. Like I say, it's front wheel drive, it does have a tendency to understeer, so it's very easy to run all the way too far there and get dirty tyres. Now going down into the next braking zone, we're going to be braking just past the Dunlop board that you're going to see approach there. So that's the board that you're using for your reference. Again, we're going to brake just slightly past that board. So as we go underneath it, onto the brakes now, and we're going to again brake in a straight line. We're going to go use the downshifting down to third gear, and we're actually going to go down to second gear. Now you can see we're actually going to take quite an early line into this corner and try and get it rotating through the corner. So turning in very early. This Mazda will rotate sometimes if you get in nice and early. I actually just about got away with a track limit penalty there. And then at this point now, we're trying to get it rotated back in for this next left. So you can see rotating it up to third gear again for that acceleration. Don't really want to use second gear because, like I say, it'll just spin up. And just be careful you don't hit the bollard there on the right-hand side. Now getting the car back over to the left-hand side and then onto the brakes just at the start of where the green Astro and the grass ends and starts there. So using that as my reference, it's a perfect reference for that corner. Now you can see with the trail braking going in, we're trying to get the right hand tyre up onto the green Astro again. You can see how Jack's using that little bit of green Astro on the right side there. So use that to rotate it in. I could have used a lot more there, you can see. So a little bit more time for me to gain on that corner also. And then just be careful on the throttle as you run out wide there. Very easy to get onto the grass. And now using the end of the curb on the left there as our braking reference for this really tricky corner. So this is, again, you just got to let the car float out to the middle of the track almost, trail braking all the way through, and then use second gear for a bit of rotation, and then back up to third gear again for when you're putting your power down because you don't want to use second gear. And you can see again, Jack very close to that bollard. That's how you want to do it. My tyre also pretty close here, using that green Astro. And then you can actually use a lot of the track, so don't turn your wheel too much. Let it slowly release into a straight line to to use all the acceleration coming out of that corner. And then onto the brakes nice and early here. You can see very early onto the brakes. And it's a very hard, tricky zone to actually get your braking reference. It's not really anything you can use. It's more about line of sight into the corner. Just try and do it early. Down to second gear, get it rotated, back up to third gear, hit the curb on the right with the right-hand tyre, and then feed that power in. And again, try and get that car straightened up. Use a bit of the exit curb if you need to get more pace out of the exit, and work your way all the way to the finishing line. We're going to go over the finishing line on a 45.8, I think it is there. It's not a particularly amazing lap. There's definitely a few more attempts in that, but it should be good enough to show you where you can gain some time on this track. Now, we're going to watch that lap again from the chase camera, so you can see what I'm talking about with the full width of the car. And you can also see how I didn't really take a full advantage of some of the apexes like you saw with Jack, getting very close to the bollard. You probably see it into turn 2, where my left-hand tyre is nowhere near it as close. But again, you can see up into third gear, and you can see now we're using the kilometers an hour now for you people that use that kilometers an hour. So hopefully that'll help you with the reference for the speeds. But we're going to go just past that 100 board. You can see it probably better from this view, just past that 100 board before we get on the brakes. And you can see I could have took a lot more curb there. And again, there was a little bit of room probably on the exit as well for a bit more speed. But again, you have to be so careful all the way through. It's just about letting the car coast through. As long as you get your right-hand tyre to clip that apex at the end there, you should be good for this next corner, getting it rotated in and then getting your tyre up onto curb. Reasonably all right there. And again, possibly could have used a bit more curb on the exit. We were really safe there. Maybe another half attempt to be gained by getting a little bit earlier on the throttle, and now working our way down into the next braking zone, which again you can see we're going to brake just past that Dunlop board. And again, I turned in very, very early. I was quite surprised I got away with that track limit, but it shows you what you can get away with there. Up into third gear nice and early. Again, very close to that bollard on the right, swinging it in from the left. And again, you really want to get that right-hand tyre up onto the green after. You see how I slightly missed that, and that just, it kind of unsettles you all the way through this sector now, through these next few corners. So maybe a tenth or two to be gained through this last sector. But other than that, quite a good exit off the corner, used all the curb, and then into this final corner, got the right-hand tyre up onto the curb quite nicely and into third gear, and got a reasonable exit from the corner. So not a bad lap, reasonably solid. Hopefully you lot will be able to gain from watching this, and with a few tips that we've given you there. But for the race, there is obviously rain coming, so I wanted to show you this in the video as well. So just be prepared. I let the time trial run so you can see how long into the race the rain is probably going to hit. And you can see here at 27 minutes, just over the 27.5-minute mark, you can see that the radar is full. However, it's actually going to start raining quite aggressively at around the 28-minute mark at the pretty much the last few corners of the lap. So as we come through here, you can see that rain coming in. You can see it on the radar coming in here now, and I'm just going to show you why you're going to want to pit, because although I've probably got slightly cold tyres, you're going to see the loss of grip I get because I did leave it standing for quite a while. I just did 2 laps to warm the tyres up before the rain hit, and you can see here now, as the rain hits there, it's quite a heavy shower and it's quite slow moving the way they've done the weather, so it does actually affect the track quite badly. You can see it's wet here now on this part, and then as we come through this part of the track, it's going to get even wetter, and this is pretty much going to guarantee you're going to need to pit stop, I think, for intermediate tyres, because you can see it gets really wet. We're going to lose all grip, and the car's just not going to turn, and it's not going to dry out that quick either, because it's at the end of the race and there is still more rain around. So yes, you probably are going to need to go into the pits and save the tyres until 28 minutes into this race. So get your tyre saving ready, because the better you can keep them tyres, the better your race is going to be, because you're going to have to hold on for this rain, because you're then going to have to pit. You don't want to pit on lap 9 or 10 and then suddenly 3-4 laps later rain hits. So just be prepared for that in the race. That's why I've included this in the guide, so that everyone's aware of it. Obviously lower rank lobbies, you're probably not going to experience this rain, we don't think, because your rain, it won't hit in time. So this is mainly for GT1 drivers, A+ and A rank, that this is going to happen. But hopefully that helps you out. Get subscribed to the channel, let me know in the comments if it's helped you out, and I'll see you for more content in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.